Hello everyone, my name's Julian. I'm going to be speaking to you guys today just about a topic that's very near and dear to me, and that is trains. Trains are cool. Kids love them for obvious reasons. They're these big, long, massive machines flying down metal tracks. I mean, they colonized the Old West, and you've got Thomas the Tank Engine. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And that is the topic I'm speaking to you guys about today. The NCDOT Comprehensive Rail Plan. I believe that you should support that. We need to support rail, both light and heavy, in North Carolina, as it is safer, greener, and more convenient for the rider. And much better than its car alternative. Now, I've always loved trains. I am very passionate about them, and I recently went to Europe and I saw their rail system, and that is really what turned me on to this topic. So I'm going to be speaking to you guys about 3 topics today, and that is the safety of trains, the convenience of trains, and the greenness of trains. So first and foremost, cars are dangerous. Cars are insanely dangerous. You could be driving down the road and experience something minor like a fender bender, anything like that, and while that is an inconvenience, there's insurance fees, your premium's going to go up. And then you've got real dangerous things like flipping your car, being T-boned, just being distracted while driving. And this actually happened to one of my friends recently. He was just leaving his apartment to buy like a few minor groceries, like milk, and he got T-boned, got hit and run. Luckily for him, he's okay. But for the 40,000 people a year that die in automobile accidents, they aren't okay. And this compared to the 800 people that die in rail accidents every year, which most of those people are in cars, just crossing railroad crossings, then getting, hit by a train, which is not a good thing to happen to anybody. But the IIHS, which is the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety, say 1,500 people die from cars a year in North Carolina alone. That comes out to about 4 people a day, which is, that's a normal family, basically. That's a nuclear family every day. And add on to this the insane opioid crisis we have in this country and the alcoholism that we're experiencing on another level. And you've got these people who generally aren't very bright driving around in these 2-ton machines. I mean, it's no surprise that we've got this much death happening because of them. And that is just one reason to support trains and support the NCDOT proposal. Now, onto a less macabre, gross topic. Trains are comfortable. Trains are very comfortable. You've got a seating area, you can spread your legs, you can stand up and walk. Can't really do that while driving. You've got Wi-Fi, so you can do work on the go, which is always good, because, if you're a commuter to work, you're spending, 30 minutes on the road. That's entirely lost time. And not to mention, you have a landscape to look at for the most part, especially if you're going between cities. So the APTA says that trains improve travel choices. And the APTA is the American Public Transit Association. But trains allow you to connect between these areas and give you more choices on what you can do with your life, especially if you don't have a car. Like for myself, I live here in Raleigh, and I have to go to Cary a lot. And for me, that's a nightmare. Going to Cary is the worst because it takes me like 40 minutes to go from here to Cary, even though as a bird flies, it should be about 10 minutes. And that just comes to weird traffic stuff. If a train would improve that for everyone. And now, allow me to explain the map here. I'm not sure if you can see it very well in the video, but the blue lines, which is really only here, it's about an H shape. Those are the public rail lines we have in our state. And the red is the proposed ones that will be made in the next 30 or so years, hopefully sooner though. Now, on to our final most important topic here. Trains are green. trains are fantastic for the environment. Andreas Hofreicher of The Conversation, which is a economics and kind of technology newspaper article, says that freight rail accounts for 1/3 of the ton miles in the United States, but only consumes 2% of the energy, of the transportation energy, which means they transport 1/3 of all of the goods transported in the country, and yet they only use 2% of the energy used to fuel all of that. On top of that, they are 11 times more efficient than trucks, which this is of course speaking about heavy infrastructure rather than consumer rail. But trucks, big rigs, are meant to be the most efficient of vehicles. So another big thing with the greenness of cars, or the greenness of trains rather, excuse me, is there's no traffic jams with trains. Ideally, of course, there can be rail traffic, especially if you've got an accident or something on the rail, everything's going to be slowed down. But traffic jams account for a massive amount of CO2 in the air, and that's why you've got big cities like LA and New York that have crazy smog problems, because for 2.5 hours every day, you've got their rush hours, going to work and going home, where cars are stuck, just idling, letting all that CO2 get out, and that's just bad for people. I mean, it causes asthma. Ultimately, we need to support rail in North Carolina, as it is safer, more convenient, and greener than all the other alternatives. And with your support, we can let that happen. And it's just important that we make a safer and greener and more convenient future for travelers. When I went to Europe and I saw the efficiency of the English rail network, which in European terms, the English have a rather lackluster one. They've had controversies with it in the past. I saw it and I knew that North Carolina could be better than that. North Carolina is about the same size as England, and yet we have a minuscule, almost embarrassing amount of train tracks for consumers, for the public, in comparison. And I think that we can do it. I think that you can do it. If you support the NCDOT proposal, you write to your local state and county representatives, your mayor, and even the governor. We can let this be a future. Thank you. Sorry, I forgot to show that I'm wearing proper shoes, but here they are. Sorry.